Prelude to a Film, a DVD based on the novel The Lively Life of Camilla Delibris, the Librarian, by Nivessa Rovedo Hatsley.
Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to this non-professional but from the heart DVD. I'm Nivessa Rovedo Hatsley, speaking to you from the walkway over the Hudson State Historic Park that was once, starting in 1888, a railroad bridge. I'm often here since I'm a volunteer ambassador to this scenic historic site in Poughkeepsie, New York. Here are two pictures of me in my red ambassador vest, ready to greet visitors. I'm also a foreign language and daycare teacher and a writer. I wrote a memoir, Manhattan Immigrant Girl, for I grew up in Manhattan. I also wrote many novels. This is my latest, The Lively Life of Camilla Delibris, the Librarian, a so very romantic yet realistic and historic story set in 2004. What is the novel about? I'll read a bit from the synopsis as I leave the walkway going down this lane lined with trees, tall trees, Poughkeepsie being called the Tree City. I'm going to the library where Camilla works, stopping briefly along the way to record with my video camera historic and well-known places for, again, this non-professional but from the heart DVD I call Prelude to a Film. Fiction. Funny and poignant, this story about a historic public library as told by the newly hired librarian Camilla Delibris, built to look like a Roman temple in the early 20th century in a city of Victorian mansions on the Hudson River. The library is struggling to remain open as a place of silence for the borrowing and reading of books, or change to meet the needs of the 21st century. The retiring controlling director, Catherine Van Velt, whose wealthy ancestors built the library, wants no change. The new director, Susan Westerly, does. A feeling of insecurity is everywhere. Mary, the older and bitter librarian, keeps telling Camilla that the library is doomed to close, made obsolete by high technology. What is Camilla to do? Stay at a profession she loves, even though the patrons come in less for books and more for video cassettes and to get on the computer. I think it's just fine. It's just fine. What is Camilla to do? She does have three choices. 1. Stay at a profession she loves with the portrait of William Van Velt, a young soldier from the French and Indian War, in a portrait hanging on a wall in the Van Velt Victorian mansion she visits. Here's the mansion. Romantic Camilla falls excruciatingly in love with William. 2. Marry Chris Capriello of the famous Capriello restaurant in Brooklyn. She loves Chris tenderly, and she's been living with him while attending Pratt Institute for her PhD in library science. Lately, he gave her an engagement ring. 3. Go to Rome, Italy, with a passing patron, handsome Latin lover Massimo Flaviani. He invites her to go to Rome with him, and there to do as the Romans do. On Main Street, Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie is also called the Queen City on the Hudson. To know all about the history, evolution, and heritage of the city, everyone, tourists and residents, come to the Heritage Center to view the many diverse cultural programs given all year long. Now, Native Americans first settled Poughkeepsie. Shall we go inside? Let's go inside the Mid-Hudson Heritage Center. As you can see, the Russian heritage is on display. And I'm going to speak slowly because our very famous painter, Nestor, is doing a painting. There he is. And Andrew here, he says he's from England way, way back. But the first settlers in Poughkeepsie were the Native Americans. In fact, Poughkeepsie comes from the Wappinger language, the language of the Wappinger American Indians. Then came the Dutch, the English, the Afro-Americans, Germans, Irish, Italians, lately Latinos, and immigrants from all over the world attracted to the Queen City on the Hudson with its glorious natural beauty, historic sites, religious centers, colleges, cultural and social life, fine dining establishments, cafes, food markets, and last but certainly not least, still and forever they come for the American dream. La brasserie, bien sûr, since I'm a French teacher, but let's see if we can find some other ethnic group. Oh, here we are. Oh, pizza, of course. Pizza, the main food now. Pizza, pasta, and panini. Let me put a plug in for pizza. Pizza in Poughkeepsie, the best pizza in all the world. This is the Italian Center, founded in 1928. But the Italians came way before, around the 1880s, from southern Italy, contadini, peasants, to work on the land, the building of the Poughkeepsie Highland Bridge and the railroad, and in the then many industrial establishments. Camilla comes here at the Italian Center for pasta night. The Italian Center, the statue of Christopher Columbus from Genoa. He came in 1492, but he didn't sail up to Poughkeepsie like Henry Hudson did in 1609. Continuing on our tour around Poughkeepsie, here we are for the best in Italian delicacies, imported and domestic, the Market del Forno's place. Same goes for Rossi and Sons, established 1979 Rosticceria. Let's get closer. Oh, it's also, of course, outdoor dining. This is Mount Carmel Square, the heart of Little Italy, here since late 19th, early 20th century. As you can see, Italian names are still here, like here we are. La Deliciosa and Cafe Boca, and over here it is the old church, and now we're going to go to the new church. We are at Dungan Park, and this plaque reads, "In memory of the earthquake victims of Abruzzo, Italy, April 6, 2009, by Noi Italiani d'Oggi, the cultural organization, and the Italian American community of Poughkeepsie, New York, October 25th, 2009. And we'll just pause in memory. So here we are again, still on at Dungan Park, and it's in memory of Thomas Dungan, governor of New York, 1683-1687. All right, we are still in Little Italy, but Thomas Dungan was Irish. And now here we are in front of this beautiful mural done by the Renaissance man Frank Palaya, also called the Michelangelo of Poughkeepsie, because he's always up on this lift like Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. And the mural is, as you can see, a life of Little Italy, the history of the life of Little Italy. A very, very famous Cafe Aurora, here since 1941. More fine dining in the fictional city of New Pastures on the Hudson. Fine dining, al fresco, outdoors, river station. And on Lower Main Street, the very, very famous Milanese restaurant. Camilla is going to come here at least 2 times. Many come all the time for the best of Italian food and music. A little further up on Main Street, named after Matthew Vassar, a businessman, entrepreneur. He became wealthy in Poughkeepsie with a brewery. He believed that the object of life was to do good, and therefore, being an educational philanthropist, believing in the educational rights of women, founded Vassar College in 1861. Later, the Vassar brothers founded Vassar Brothers Hospital. These were some of the Vassar homes. Now Cunene Hackett Arts Council, the theater. It's hard to leave Vassar Street, but Camilla is waiting at the New Pastures, at the fictional New Pastures Public Library. The library calls. On Market Street now. This is the building of the Poughkeepsie Journal, the oldest newspaper in the state of New York, founded in 1785. Still on Market Street, the Bardavon Opera House, 1869, still giving live from the Met on Saturdays in the fall, etc. Finally, here is the Adrian's Memorial Library on 93 Market Street. Whereas in my novel, look close under the dome. It's the new Pastures Public Library in the fictional city of New Pastures on the Hudson. Chose a library setting this time in my novel because ever since I stepped foot on American soil in Manhattan in the late 30s, a little girl from a hamlet in the mountains of Friuli, northeastern Italy, loving books even then, this great American institution, the public library, has been an important part of my life. I owe the public library. I even worked for the New York Library on Fifth Avenue, especially my first one, the St. Gabriel's Public Library, once and no more, on East 36th Street, Manhattan. That first summer, when lonely, without friends, in the biggest city in the world, teeming with people who spoke a language different from mine, scared by the noise of traffic and the Second Avenue elevated train, the library welcomed me by giving me a quiet, safe place, a sanctuary with free books I could borrow. I loved story time and American stories like Little Women. And it was around the 4th of July that I heard stirring words, new to me, and trying hard to understand life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and the American dream, and American values. Read books, and get an education. And in later years, I heard others that such as fairness, self-reliance, responsibility. Back then, when I was an immigrant girl, I knew that America, Manhattan, with its many public libraries, was the place for me. And now for older Americans, another American value, to give back to the community for the public good. Humbly, I'm giving a book back, a novel about a library and a librarian dedicated to my daughter, a librarian. Moreover, this DVD called A Prelude to a Film, the DVD and later the film called Help Camilla Choose, one of the three men in her life. Marketed properly, it would be good for tourism, bring in needed revenue to Poughkeepsie. It's a special kind of tourism called cultural tourism. Now the moviegoers, liking the film, liking both the story and the place, they come to visit. I'm reminded of the great Sicilian playwright Luigi Pirandello.